National anthem. Almighty God, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we will always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace. ọmọ àwọ̀rí sábàá pàtàkì sọ ó sọ pé.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, we have formed quorum and we are ready for business. The Civil Secretary, resume your seats. We are now ready for business. Hello? This one is still holding it. Is discussing the issue now. This thing is I think we just see at the party, what? No, I'm not sure. Tell me again.
Distinguished colleagues, could you please look through the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, the 4th day of June 2026, and confirm that the content or the entries are true reflections of what transpired that day. I start with page 2099, 2100, 2101, 2102. Okay. So it's a bit as well.
Sorry, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, correction actually on the first page.
On the first page?
Yes, sir. The name of the nominee contained in the letter from Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, is Zainab Marwa. First paragraph,
yes,
wrongly.
Thank you very much. Secretary, it's not Zainab, it's Zainab. Please take. Two 2102, 2103, Senator Inaya Hakon Abaribi. Can you please move for the adoption of the vote and proceedings of today? I'm sorry, excuse me, by tradition, the mover should come from here, and then you second. So please, let me, you second, sorry, you know the tradition. Senator Ali Ubaga take a dawama ko sakin yamma Sokoto.
Mr. President, my dear colleagues, Aliu M. Wamako remains my names. Rest move that both the president of Thursday, 1st June 2026 be approved. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know we like you to come over here. That is why I mistakenly called you. So you can ask second. But you have refused.
Mr. President, my name is Inaya Baribe. I will have said something, but I will swallow it. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my very good friend and chairman of the Deputy Governors Association in 1999. I so move.
Thank you very much. Those in favor of the motion for the adoption of votes and proceedings of Thursday, the 4th day of June 2026, moved by Senator Ali Umugatika Dawamako, the Secretary of Sokoto, and the Chairman of Deputy Governors Forum 1999, and seconded by a member of that forum, Senator proceeding of Thursday, the 4th day of June 2026 is hereby adopted. Announcement. Distinguished colleagues, last week Thursday, the 4th day of June 2026 was the birthday of Senator Amos Kumei Yohana. Also yesterday, Monday, the 8th day of June 2026 was the birthday of Senator Umar Sadiq Suleiman. On behalf of the Senate, I wish the distinguished senators happy birthday, long life, prosperity, and more years of service to our fatherland. Happy birthday to all of you, to both of you. I wish to acknowledge the presence of members of Youth Parliament for New Hope who are here in our gallery to observe our proceedings. You are welcome. I wish you happy observation of the Senate proceedings, and whenever you are done, I wish you safety back to your various destinations. You may wish to sit down. I also wish to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Asma Heritage Academy who are also here to observe our proceedings. You are most welcome. You may wish to sit down. Also, last but not least for today, respect to those who are here to observe our proceedings, I wish to acknowledge the presence of founder and children of Booker's Root Reading Club. These young boys and girls are here to observe our proceeding of today. I wish you happy observation of proceeding. May God bless you, and whenever you are done, I wish you safe trip, you and your teacher back to your school or your various destination. You are welcome. You may wish to sit down. Any petition? Senator, you may wish to go ahead.
My name is Ekong Samson. I present Akwa Ibom South. I have a petition here from one of my constituents. His name is ASP Etmbasi. He alleges victimization and non-payment of retirement benefits from the Nigerian police. He is not manacled by any case in courts. He is free from any legal encumbrance. Respectfully, if it meets your time permission, I would like to present this at plenary. Thank you.
Is there any legal action that has been taken as far as the matter?
None.
It's not encumbered by, it's not legally encumbered?
No legal matter.
So we wish to place the petition on the table.
Thank you.
The petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions to report back within 4 weeks. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation of the bill standing in the name of Senator Ned Monero on the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1043. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1043, first reading.
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1043, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Olubiyi Fadeyi Oluwole on the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1044. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1044, first reading.
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1044, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Onweboyi Oyeka Peter on the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1045. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1045, first reading.
Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2026 SB 1045, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the fourth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Barau Jubril on Nigerian Communication Act, Amendment Bill 2026 SB 1046. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Communications Commission Act Amendment Bill 2026 SB 1046, first reading.
Nigeria Communication Commission Act Amendment Bill 2026 SB 1046, first reading taken.
Is it there? Can I go? Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the first order of the day, the second reading is the second reading of the Virtual Asset and Service Provider Bill 2026 SB 956. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Thursday, 13th November 2025. Mr. President, would you bring to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time?
Distinguished Senator Mohammed Tahir Bongodo, the Chief Whip of the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. You may need to proceed.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I hereby have the singular honor and privilege of standing in for the Deputy Senate President because of the fact that he is now presiding and he cannot descend into the arena to, on his behalf, move for a bill for an act to establish a comprehensive legal, regulatory and supervisory framework for virtual assets, digital assets and virtual asset service providers operating within the Federal Republic of Nigeria and for related matters 2026 SB 956 be read the second time.
You can proceed. You don't need a second.
Okay. So to subject to your endeavors, I will proceed with the brief of argument on why this bill should go for second reading with the speed of light. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, permit me to, on behalf of our indefatigable Deputy Senate President, to lead the debate on the Virtual Asset Service Providers Regulation Bill 2026. The argument reads thus: the bill speaks directly to the realities of our time, a time when technology is reshaping the global financial system and redefining how people earn, trade, save and invest. It is an effort to ensure that Nigeria does not stand on the sidelines of digital financial revolution, but participates safely, confidently, and beneficially. Distinguished colleagues, across the world, virtual assets from cryptocurrencies to blockchain-based tokens have become an integral part of modern economic life. These technologies are driving innovations, creating new jobs, and expanding access to finance for people who were previously excluded from traditional systems. In Nigeria today, millions of young people are already participating in this digital economy, trading, building fintech platforms, and innovating through blockchain technologies. Our country ranks among the top users of virtual assets globally, and that is the main reason behind the creation of the Ministry of Digital Economy, in order to harness the potentials therein. In Nigeria today, millions of young people are already participating in this digital economy. Okay, sorry. The next paragraph. Yet, while innovation as such, regulation has lagged behind. This has created loopholes that allow misuse, fraud, and financial crimes to flourish. Loopholes that expose honest citizens to loss and exploitation, and loopholes that threaten the stability of our financial system. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the intent of this bill is simple: to bring order, confidence, and accountability into the virtual asset ecosystem. It does not seek to stifle innovation or punish creativity. On the contrary, it aims to create a fair and predictable environment where innovation can thrive under clear rules and responsible oversight. The bill will ensure that those who operate as virtual asset providers are properly licensed, transparent, and compliant with laws designed to protect the public and the financial system. It will also strengthen Nigeria's hand in the global fight against money laundering, terrorism financing, and other illicit financial flows, in line
with the standard of the Financial Action Task Force and International Monetary Fund. Dear regulation, distinguished colleagues, this bill speaks to trust. The trust that consumers place in digital finance, trust that investors place in our economy, and the trust that government must uphold in managing countries' digital transformation. If enacted, the law will help protect consumers from predatory schemes, attract responsible investment into fintech and blockchain sectors, and support the government's drive for economic diversification and digital inclusion. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, this is including Kenya, South Africa, and Ghana are already creating similar legal frameworks. The world is moving towards responsible regulation and virtual assets, and Nigeria cannot be left behind. With the passage of this bill, we will provide the legal clarity and confidence that innovators, entrepreneurs, and investors have long awaited. We will also empower regulators to act decisively when abuses occur, while maintaining Nigeria's reputation as a bold and forward-looking digital economy. The Virtual Asset Providers Regulation Bill 2026 is therefore a necessary step in safeguarding our financial future. It is forward-looking, it is pragmatic, and aligns perfectly with Nigeria's national digital economy policy and strategy. I urge my colleagues to lend their full support to this bill, to allow it be read a second time, and let Nigeria take its rightful place among nations shaping the rules of the new digital financial sector. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I urge you to support the second reading of this bill, because it primarily wants to bring that sector in tandem with international best practice, and also harness the potentials there in our digital economy for the purpose of creating jobs for our teeming unemployed youths and what have you. I urge you to support the second reading of this bill. Thank you.
Leader, you can contribute. You have the floor, leader.
Yeah, Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleague, and always I wonder why Nigeria is always lagging behind in taking very necessary initiatives. This is a situation where countries like Kenya, South Africa, and our brother Ghana had already covered a lot of mileage. And I wonder why we have refused to accept the fact that cryptocurrency and virtual assets are a matter of compulsion in the new world order. And I wonder why we have not recognized the need and benefits in regulating this aspect of our life. I would therefore want to say that very quickly we should strive to march together with our brother in Africa and the world, and with a speed of light, go for the second reading of Virtual Asset and Service Provider Bill. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, the Baba Adetokunbo Abiru, to this top-notch bill being sponsored by the leader himself, that's the Deputy Senate President. Mr. President, there is no doubt
the times that we live in actually calls for a bill of this nature, because we live in the era of technology, and we can see all of the conversations that I've had so far relating to virtual assets. They all fall under the rate at which technology is evolving today. So clearly, there is need for a bill to standardize the industry as it were. But again, I would like to also mention, sir, that as we speak today, we have just not too long ago passed the Investment and Security Act bill, which of course all of the dictates of virtual assets they come under. And in process in this Amialu chambers as well is the review of the BOFIA Act, which is also addressing matters relating to fintech. So what I would like to suggest is that, as important as this is, we should also marry it together so that we have an holistic view.
Badini, yeah, sure. I mean, this shows you are really up to date in what is going on in our system, and you've spoken very well, and this will be considered. Thank you. Senator Shaibu Afolabi Salisu, SAS, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, my name is Shaibu Afolabi Salisu. I represent Ogun Central, and I'd like to learn. A few days ago, there was a report that Nigeria leads in virtual assets in Africa. And this is not surprising, because Nigeria is also leading when it comes to fintechs in Africa. Indeed, out of 10 fintechs in Africa, possibly 6 or 7 are from Nigeria. And we're extremely very proud of this. From Flutterware to a number of these organizations, Nigerians dominate the fintech space. It is therefore not surprising that Nigerians also dominate the virtual assets in Africa. And if we do not provide a regulatory framework for this, there are 2-3 challenges that will occur. Number one, it will go under the table in a black market environment, and when there's no transparency, when it is opaque, it allows for criminal activity to take place. Number two, it will also undermine the potential of digital economy to contribute to $1 trillion economic vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. And third and finally, with a population that is as savvy and young as we have in Nigeria, this is where our youth are going, both as an economic sector and also for the assets. It is therefore important that we provide a regulatory framework for this, to bring it into the open, to provide the enabling environment for the regulators to have visibility into those transactions and ensure that they are done transparently, openly. I therefore would like to support that this bill should go for second reading. Particularly at a time, our National Digital Economy and E-Governance Bill is at the third and final stage of legislative intervention. All of this tied together to create an environment for
opposition camp. Senator Natasha Akoti, the chieftain of the PDP.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to also lend my voice in support of this very crucial bill, which is the regularizing of the virtual assets and service providers. This is very personal to me because my 20-year-old son owns a sports competition website, a gaming platform that he coded himself. And he has about 100,000 real-time players when the competitions are on. And I have asked him a number of times, why is he not marketing his gaming site in Nigeria, considering the fact that we have a very active young population? And he lets me understand time after time that he can't do that because the gaming servers that offer the back-end support for these virtual games are not considering Nigeria as, are not hosting in Nigeria. That recently they did open up for South Africa, in Africa, and they are yet to do so in Nigeria. And I questioned him why. He said, because we do not have the regulations in place. And he's able to host in America, in the Middle East, and Europe. And I want us to understand that we as a country, we are losing a lot of revenue from this, because those who are gamers understand how much is being generated from these gaming platforms. And it's very important that we do put regulations in place so that we can checkmate and attract a number of investments, because trust me, there's a lot of investment in the virtual space now that runs into almost billions of dollars. So it will be out of place if we want create jobs, because there are young people that create jobs and earn a living from these gamings as well as other virtual services. And so I think, sir, I want to really appreciate you, because if this happens, it will also be some succor to me personally, my family, and as well as many other Nigerians. Thank you, sir.
Senator Adam Osomole. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Adam Sajiri Osomole. I represent the great people of Edo North. I think whatever needs to be said has been said, first from the lead presenter and all the subsequent comments that have been made. Mine is to say that everything suggests that this is self-evident. We don't need to overflog it. They say when something is beautiful, we don't do too much makeup. So I suggest that we proceed to support this bill to go through the second reading. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Those in favor that this, is there any opposition to the bill in the first place? Okay. I now put the question. Those in favor that the bill now be read second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish a comprehensive legal, regulatory, and supervisory framework for virtual acts, digital assets, and virtual asset service providers operating within the Federal Republic of Nigeria and for related matters 2026 SB 956 second reading.
A bill for an act to establish a comprehensive legal, regulatory, and supervisory framework for virtual assets, digital assets, and virtual asset service providers operating within the Federal Republic of Nigeria and for related matters 2026 second reading taken. Let me commend. Now, the bill is referred to the Committee on Capital Markets to report back within 4 weeks. Let me commend those who contributed in the debate for the second reading of this bill. You've spoken eloquently about the need to create a legal framework to regulate or to protect investors in the virtual assets ecosystem. This is good in order to make sure that this new innovation in our economy or in the entire world economy brings, attributes that will promote deliver our nation. Players within the ecosystem should be protected by law so that nobody will be cheated and nobody will cheat anybody. I want to commend Senator Abiru for his contribution, and I call on those concerned, the committees concerned, or those who are processing the bill he mentioned to consolidate this bill with the bill he mentioned so that we can have a strong framework to protect the entire virtual asset ecosystem. So I thank you, the Babadini of Ikorodu, and all those who contributed to this bill. Thank you very much. The Leader of the Senate.
And also, before you proceed, let me also commend the Chief Whip that read the lead debate on my behalf. Thank you very much. You read it eloquently and well. This, spoke for yourself, as you always say in your legal parlance. You see, well, I can't repeat that, but you did very well. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day, the second reading of Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria, Establishment Bill 2026, SB was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, 26 September 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Yunus Akintunde, who is standing for Senator Aliu Sarafadin Abiodun, to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
Senator Yunus Abiodun, you will proceed to move the motion for the second reading of this bill.
Mr. President, I remain Yunus Abiodun, representing Oyo Central Senatorial District. I wish to move for the motion to lead the debate on a bill being sponsored by Senators to read the bill for the second time.
You may proceed. You don't need. You may proceed. No need for a second.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I wish to do debate on a bill to allow to establish the Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria and for related matters 2026 SB 89 on behalf of the two sponsors, Senator Sharafadin Abiodun Oyo South and Senator Ismail Osita Bonaventure Imo West. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise today to lead the debate on this very important bill, seeking to establish the Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria and to reposition the governance profession in Nigeria in line with contemporary global standards and realities. This bill was read for the first time on this floor on Wednesday, 2nd August 2023. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, good governance remains the bedrock of sustainable development, institutional effectiveness, transparency, accountability, and economic prosperity. Every successful nation is built upon strong governance institutions that promote ethical leadership, sound corporate practices, regulatory compliance, and responsible stewardship of resources. The Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria has over the years played a critical role in advancing corporate governance, company secretarial practices, regulatory compliance, and professional ethics across both the public and private sectors. However, the evolving nature of governance globally has necessitated a broader and more strategic professional framework. The governance profession worldwide has undergone significant transformation. The emphasis has shifted from mere administrative support function to strategic governance leadership. Board advisory services, risk management, sustainable oversight, compliance monitoring, and institutional accountability. In recognition of these developments, several jurisdictions have modernized their professional governance institutions. Similar professional bodies in the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand have adopted the designation Chartered Governance Institute to better reflect the expanded responsibilities of governance profession in modern organizations. The bill therefore seeks to ensure that Nigeria is not left behind in this global evolution. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill seeks to, among other things,
establish and redesignate the institute as the Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria, promote excellence in governance practices across public, private, and non-profit institutions, strengthen corporate governance framework and ethical standard, and finally enhance professional education, certification, and capacity development in governance-related disciplines. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the jurisdiction for this bill is as follows. There is a present need to align Nigeria with global professional standard. The governance profession has evolved significantly, and our institutional framework must evolve accordingly. The term Chartered Secretariat in quote no longer adequately captured the strategic governance responsibility performed by members of the institute, thereby undermining the broader professional mandate of governance practitioners. The institute has long distinguished itself as a leading advocate of sound corporate governance. The proposed name change will therefore reflect its actual role and strengthen its feasibility as a foremost governance institution. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the passage of this bill will yield significant national benefit. It will, among others, strengthen corporate governance and public sector accountability, enhance investor confidence in Nigerian institutions, promote transparency and ethical conduct. Finally, it will improve board effectiveness and regulatory compliance. A strong governance culture reduces corruption, improves service delivery, enhances business competitiveness, and ultimately contribute to national development. The institute shall continue to utilize the existing infrastructure, personnel, and institutional resources. Consequently, no substantial expenditure is anticipated beyond routine administrative adjustments that may arise from implementation. It is forward-looking legislation that will enhance governance standards, improve professional practice, and contribute meaningfully to national development. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I therefore urge this distinguished Senate to support this bill and allow it to proceed to the next legislative stage. Thank you.
I want to support it. No. Could anybody?
Adibule.
Yes, the President of the Senate, I rise to support the motion, this bill to go for second reading, in view of the several benefits that have been advocated that this bill will, of course, definitely improve what we are currently doing, enable us to align with what is going on in the global world, and then day in, day out in here, we approve of people going into being nominated as board members. And of course, there are people that are going to service this board. For them to be able to do that effectively, we must know that we must again improve what we are currently doing, build that institution for them to be able to serve the board effectively. Distinguished colleagues, this is in this light, owing to the inherent benefit of approving this bill, that I suggest that we please support this bill to go for second reading. A lot of this benefit has been advocated in this bill itself, so there's no point taking your time. I therefore recommend that this bill should be read the second time. Thank you.
Senator Adam Oshomole. Thank you very much, Mr. President. My name is Adam Saliu Oshomole. I represent the great people of Edo North in Edo State. Mr. President, I have serious issues to this bill. The first, Mr. President, is that we should be guided by our own resolutions. We can't repeal a law. appreciate the attention of Mr. President. This unlawful arrest should be addressed by the chief whip. And if he's absent, then we elect a new one immediately.
I'm ready to serve.
Mr. President, these people are breaking the rules of the House. Senators cannot move around when you are graciously allow a senator to stand and to have the floor.
I'm telling you.
Particularly if you are Baba Adini, you have to respect the religious injunction. Sir, I have serious problem with this bill. First is that we had resolved time and time again that we can't be repealing an act without the benefit of seeing that act. How can I in clean conscience repeal what I have not seen and substitute it with another? I think for us to have a meaningful conversation, we must look at the existing act, look at the sections that this proposed bill seeks to change. I'm always of the view that referring to America, Canada, and so on, is neither here or there. Every country make laws according to its own peculiar environment with clear-cut objective. I'm not convinced that we need to repeal an act that is not before us. I'm not convinced that change of name is important enough for us to make amendment. And I have seen a general tendency. One day somebody will come here and suggest we should have a chartered institute of senators in order to ensure that the conduct of senators is transparent, is accountable, and all that. I think laws are meant to be important, and you change it only when there is a compelling reason. I have not had compelling reason for us to do so. But more importantly, I don't think we can proceed without the benefit of the existing act that we seek to repeal.
Thank you very much. Leader, Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Perusing this bill and given the circumstances in which we find ourselves today in this country,
before you proceed, Senator Adam Oshamole, the Gazette or whatever the bill has been sent to everyone. You have it in your office, so it has been sent to you. So check your records. It's there. No, you check.
Mr. President, in the circumstances, I think I'm very well guided, because it has been one of the advocacies in this Hallowed Chamber that bills of national importance as this one should be actually circulated over time to enable members cross all the T's and dot all the I's. It is very, very important at this point in time that this bill is even coming from somebody who wants to be governor. Mr. President, I think the very serious problem that we have in this country today is a lack of good governance. Mr. President, you are aware, for instance, that this shallow chamber had passed bills for the autonomy of local government. The court of the land, the highest court of the land, has ruled that funds belonging to local governments should be transmitted or given to local government. But Mr. President, as I'm talking to you now, these rules have been implemented more in the breach. And year in, year out, as we debate insecurity here, it has come to our knowledge that some governors that draw security votes hardly deploy these votes to security matters. And so every day they keep complaining they're not in charge of police, they're not in charge of army and the rest of them. You don't have to be in charge of everything to do everything. And so you want to ask yourself, where has their conscience taken flight to? That every day you hear of people killing people every time in all the communities,
and the governor sit in the comfort of government house and do nothing. And so there is a very serious desire for a code of conduct, for good governance, for ethical standards in governance. And so if changing the name of Institute of Chartered Secretaries without abandoning the dramatic personnel in the Institute of Chartered Secretaries, but adding them to make more meaningful our governance structure and ethics is the main reason for this bill. I think, Mr. President, we should support this bill. And so whatever inadequacies that we find here, like people who have not gone through the old law and want to pass this new law or don't want to pass this new law, by the time we go for second reading, by the time the public is there and all the documents are laid in the open, I think we will be sufficiently guided to pass this bill, if only to ensure good governance in Nigeria that align with global best practices. Mr. President, I so submit and I so urge my colleagues to support this bill to be read the second time.
Those in favor that this bill be read second time, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria Act and enact the Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria to make provisions for determining the standard, knowledge, and skill to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the Institute and for related matters 2026, SB 89, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria Act and enact the Chartered Governance Institute of Nigeria to make provisions for determining the standards, knowledge, and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become members of the Institute and for related matters 2020 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Senate Committee on Establishment and Public Service Matters to report within 4 weeks. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the second reading of Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers, Establishment Bill 2026, SB 625. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 23rd October 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Eshiloku Sani Wasiu to move the motion for the bill to be read the second time.
I call on Senator Eshiloku Sani Wasiu, representing Lagos West and Chairman Senate Committee on Marine Transport, to move the motion for the second reading of his bill. You may proceed, distinguished Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Senator Wasiu Sonia Eshiloku, representing Lagos Central. I rise to move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers of Nigeria to regulate safety engineering practice, control and determine the standards of knowledge to be attained by people seeking to become Chartered Safety Engineers and for related matter 2026 SB 625 be read the second time. Mr. President, I also want to crave your indulgence to lead the debate on this bill. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, it is with great delight and a deep sense of gratitude that I rise to lead the debate on the general principles for the bills for an act to establish the Chartered Institutes of Safety Engineers of Nigeria and for related matters SB 625. The bill was read for the first time on the floor of this hallowed chamber on Wednesday, 23rd October 2025. The bill, among other things, seeks to provide legal, professional, and institutional framework for the regulation, advancement, and institutionalization of safety engineering practice in Nigeria, which is a technical discipline essential for national safety, industrial reliability, and sustainable infrastructure. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, there is no gainsaying the fact that Nigeria continues to experience avoidable industrial and infrastructural tragedies arising from incessant building collapse, pipeline explosions, plant fires, process leaks, maritime incidents, and transport accidents. All these occurrences have resulted in monumental losses amounting to billions of naira. Hence, there is need for deliberate legislative intervention to address the inherent challenges in this engineering sector through the instrumentality of lawmaking. Consequently, while commendable efforts have been made in safety administration and health, safety and environmental management, the underlying engineering systems and design standard that ensure safety by design remain largely unregulated, underdeveloped, and uncoordinated. And these, among other factors, are responsible for the series of reported cases of building collapse and other related incidents. Accordingly, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the proposed legislation has been crafted to fill these critical gaps hitherto experienced by establishing the Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers of Nigeria, which shall be the professional body responsible for the technical, engineering, and scientific aspect of safety engineering practices, distinct from occupational health and safety management and administration. The overriding objectives of the bills are: 1. Establish a specialized institute dedicated to engineering-based safety, technical design, system risk and reliability, and process safety functions that prevent engineering systems failures in the first place. 2. Regulate and certify professional Chartered Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers of Nigeria Act, all operate under the umbrella of the Council for the Registration of Engineering in Nigeria. Serve as a professional. Third, serve as a professional and technical arm for engineering safety, working in harmony with COREM and other engineering bodies to strengthen national safety governance. 4. Provide approved code of conduct for construction safety in Nigeria, providing design level safety guidance for the building and infrastructure. That the proposed Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers of Nigeria should not be misconstrued to duplicate the functions of the Institute of Safety Professionals in Nigeria, which focuses on occupational health and safety management. Following mathematical, analytical, and design-driven aspects of making system inherently safe, right from the front-end engineering and design feed stage through execution, completion, and decommissioning. Upon enactment, the proposed legislation will develop, regulate,
and promote competencies in engineering specialization in key technical areas such as A. Risk and reliability engineering, quantitative risk assessment, reliability prediction, failure analysis, and system resilience. B. System safety, hazard identification, fault tree analysis, and system hazard control in aviation, power, and maritime sectors. C. Functional safety standard, design and verification of safety instruments, systems in compliance and with function safety standard IEC 61508 and IEC 61511. D. Technical safety, hazard management in oil, gas, LNG, and petrochemical in load management and construction sequences for safety execution of civil works. In conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill contemplates the institutionalization of Chartered Institute of Safety Engineering by giving it legal mandate to develop, issue as well as review national engineering safety standard in line with international best practices to strengthen industrial and infrastructural safety across Nigeria, build indigenous capacity in safety critical engineering systems, and reduce dependence on foreign safety engineering consultants. Finally, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in compliance with Order 76.3 of the Senate Standing Order 2023, as amended, the passage of this proposed bill will not impose any financial obligation on the treasury of the federal government, as the proposed institutions, consulting, technical services, industry collaboration, and research. On this note, I respectfully urge you all, my dear colleagues, to support this bill by expedite distinguished colleagues. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Saliu Mustafa. Saliu. S-A-L-I-U. Well, Mr. President, on this top-notch bill ably presented by Senator Wasiu Eshiloku on the lead debate for a bill to enact and establish the Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers, I rise to lend my voice and to ask other colleagues to lend their voice and support the passage of this bill. It cannot be said better than this, that we need to have a safety measure in whatever we are doing, especially in our engineering aspect, both before technology. Because when you look at this bill, it explains why some of these safety measures are needed. Sometimes we think safety measures of engineering aspect is only relating to the hazards and the accident that occurs there. We should look at the further. So I want to ask my colleagues that we should please give this bill the quickest passage it needs so as to be able to achieve.
Thank you, Mr. My name is Senator Victor OFR. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I recognize the concern expressed by my brother, the sponsor of this bill, on the issue of safety standards in Nigeria. The bill to establish Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers appears to me to be an attempt to create another body of engineers that will be charged with responsibility of ensuring safety standards. We know that we have, as recognized in this bill, Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. And the essence of their work is to ensure that engineering practice in Nigeria conforms with global standards. Building collapses have continued to create anxiety and concern among the citizens of this country. I think that an engineer is an engineer, chemical engineer, civil engineer, structural engineer, all arms of engineering, they are all engineers. To be able to ensure safety in engineering practice, it has to do with the Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria to be responsible to the dictates of their charter. If an engineer, a civil engineer, is in charge of a building construction and it collapses, sanctions should be handed down against the engineer. It has to be investigated because Institute of Safety Engineers will not give new body of knowledge to engineers. No new body of knowledge. It is the same engineering that they study in various arms of engineering to ensure safety. Therefore, it has to do with enforcement of the professional discipline in engineering, no matter the arm where you are practicing it. So, Korean, I believe, is the one that is charged with this responsibility to ensure safety in the area of engineering practice. So I don't know whether this Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers will have new codes apart from the codes handed down by Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. So I'm saying that if there is need to harmonize the functions of Korean and any other body that will be established to have to do with engineering practice, whether it is standard or anything, so that we don't go and establish a new body, Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers, and their work essentially is the same thing with what Korean is doing. The important thing is for Korean to be alive to its responsibilities to ensure standards in the practice of engineering in Nigeria. I'm not therefore opposing the bill because it's my brother that is sponsoring it, but I want to draw the attention of the Senate that Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers is going into the work of Council for Regulation.
Thank you very much. If the bill is able to scale through to the second reading, by the time we go to a public hearing, I'm not trying to predict what's going to happen because you have to put everything to boot. During the public hearing, everybody will be there, all interested parties will be there, and whether Korean or whichever body that has stake in the enterprise will be there, and there will be those who may be against the bill and those who may be in favor of the bill, and the committee that is going to the committee that is going to have the referral will now decide on what to bring to the floor. Having said that, let me call on Senator Benga Daniels, and then the last who will round up the debate will be the deputy leader. Thank you.
My name is Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, representing Ogun East. I want to lend my voice to the proponents of this bill, and to also say that it is one of the most important bills that I have had in the last few months. Without any doubt, there are organizations that are responsible for similar things in different ways. But I feel strongly that one other organization will not be too much when you look at the kind of tragedies that we have had to experience over the years. One of the biggest problems we have in our dear country is the issue of standards and safety.
And in whatever you touch, be it in building construction, in the field of elevator, which is my own turf, in electricals, in civil, there is a common denominator in our country, which is the lack of standards and adherence to safety standards. And I feel very, very strongly that this bill should be highly commended and supported. Most of the time, the standards that we adhere to are not even Nigerian standards. You'll be shocked that in various aspects of engineering, we are still with EN standard, British standard, and things like that. Sometimes because of the nature of their climate, those standards that we adhere to do not necessarily help when you look at the tropicalism of where we do exist. In line with this also is the fact that many of our practitioners do not go through the kind of safety training that ensure that the standard of what we get pass every safety standards that is inevitable. And I just feel that whichever one we look, I'm a current registered engineer. I know the responsibility of current, but it could also because of the amount of construction, the amount of engineering that is taking place in every nooks and crannies of this great country. Probably current is not able for one or the other to cover some of those things they could cover. So the way I look at this bill is similar to what we have. We have the Nigerian police, we have the civil defense, we have also some people who are doing something similar, and to that extent I just want to commend the initiator of this bill and ask for us to support it accordingly. Thank you very much.
The Deputy Leader, you have the floor.
Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I just want to lay emphasis on some facts. By design, by arrangement, engineering devices are not supposed to fail. Basically, they are supposed to have undergone series of check and balance before they are put into functions. So theoretically, safety is supposed to be a perfect arrangement in engineering devices. But I want to emphasize that the greatest problem we have is in...
Leader, you are talking of resolution of forces in civil engineering. Forces will resolve, resolution of forces. I know that in engineering, where...
Yes. But the problem we have is lack of adequate training of our professionals. We have problem of quackery. People are not supposed to be there. They are there. We have problem before they become leader in their professional engagement. So my take is that, and for every engineering process, there are so many professionals involved. We need a body. A body has been proposed to now work along various professionals to be able to do support the establishment of Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers as a layer to protect failure in our services. I so support, Mr. President.
Before I put the question, it's not, I don't want to descend into the arena as always said by the chief whip. Do you have similar bodies across the globe, or this is a first? You have, I just want to ask the sponsor.
Yes, sir.
You have another
Just working pari passu with Korean. All they need is the legal backing. The last national chairman is...
I know you would like to, we are coming to textile. The motion on textile, I know you would like to contribute. Okay, go ahead. difficulties with it. But I think that I ask you for courage to say things the way I see them. Daniel, if there are defects, you need to give it teeth to bite. The appropriate thing to do with due respect is not to only want to offend friends. This house is really about helping a friend. It's about making law that in our conscience we add value. This piece, with all due respect, is just like don't offend anyone. It don't bring any value. The challenge of enforcement, nobody can be a member of CORED, and I want Brigadier to comment on this, without evidently having the requisite training and experience. It is not thrown at you. And what is the experience about? That you have the competence to evaluate, to design, and ensure that you are held accountable for the structural integrity, if it is civil engineering or other requirements that you are supposed to certify before you are admitted as a member. If we create another institute of whatever, how does that speak to enforcement? What is done in other jurisdictions, which Mr. President, I'm sure you know it more than me, is that if there is something missing in an act, we add it by amending the act. Not creating another structural engineer, you are not competent to design a bridge. And if you design a bridge and it collapses, the responsibility to do is to prosecute and sanction and withdraw your certificate if you currently have a certificate. But for us to just make law and everything, I don't want my brother now not to share tea with me because I'm not supporting this bill. But I don't think that I'm here to support something I'm not convinced about. Particularly when I'm not doing any harm to him. He has intentions that are noble, but it's just that it can be achieved without creating another law. That's just my challenge. And I'm sorry that I seem to be opposing things like this, but it is better I do so here than to say later that, because
thank you very much. Now
I have the question. So I don't think this thing should go on.
We'll now put the question. In any case, when you have a bill which might not be clear to some people and not well comprehended by all that you have some reservation on, sometimes we allow them to go to second reading, and then where the public will now have the chance of ventilating their views in respect to such bills. And when you have panel of experts, interested parties, consumers, and what have you, then the environment will be made in such a way that you have cross ventilation of views, and at the end of the day you have the best, you take the best out of it, and then the relevant committee that will have this referral, if at all the bill gets through the second reading, then the committee will now bring it forward for the Senate in plenary to decide on what to do. Then we'll have a true picture of what is going on, having gotten expert advice, and put the issue to vote. Those that feel that this bill be read the second time, congratulations, signing. The ayes have it.
So, senators, a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Chartered Institute of Safety Engineers of Nigeria to regulate safety engineering practice, control, and determine the standards of knowledge to be attained by people seeking to become Chartered Safety Engineers and for related matters, SB 625, second reading.
A bill of Nigeria to regulate safety engineering practice, control, and determine the standards of knowledge to be attained by people seeking to become chartered safety engineers, and for related matters, 2026 second reading taken. The bill is referred to report back within 4 weeks. And I think the clerk, the committee on work should also be involved. Because it has to do with structures that we have and those that are failing in our system. I think what should be part of this. Condition what should also be part of this. Just like the bill we passed in respect of judicial co-referral with that of the committee earlier mentioned. Chairman, I think I'm right. All right, thank you. Let me commend Senator Sani for bringing forward this bill, even though it's been challenged by almost all the contributors to the debate. But the final thing will be decided during the public hearing. So the committee on establishment of public service matters and that of works should have a very, very well-organized public hearing so that we can hear from experts whether this bill should be passed or not. So please take note about the reservations of some senators here by calling all stakeholders, Korean and other relevant bodies to participate in order for them to give their expert advice, because this has to do with the engineering profession and the entire safety of structures that have been erected or are erected in this country, so that we don't continue to have incidences of failure in our properties, skyscrapers, high-rise buildings should be safe, and we should go there and stay with all confidence and sense of safety. And even investors who come into our country will vouch for the integrity and safety of our properties. So thank you very much, Senator Sani, for the concern you've shown here from Lagos, where we have majority of our skyscrapers in this country. So it's good for you that you brought this. As Lagos Central is known for its skyscrapers and so on and so forth. So it shows you are concerned about the safety of your people. You are highly commended. Please look through whatever that is of concern to the safety of our people, not only in terms of buildings, in terms of, in fact, every aspect of our life. Please bring it forward. And also, senators take a cue from what he has done. Anything that concerns our safety should be of importance to all of us. Thank you very much, Senator Sani. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the fourth order of the day is a motion, and I want to say this is the last order of the day. Standing in the name of Senator Katung Sunday Masha and 9 others on the urgent need to revive the textiles industry in Nigeria, and with particular reference to Kaduna-Kano axis. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Katung Sunday Masha to move the motion.
Senator Katung Sunday Masha, you have the floor to move for your motion to be debated. You can proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Sunday Marshal Katung, I represent the people of Kaduna South Senatorial District. And with your kind permission, Mr. President, in addition to the co-sponsors listed, I want to also name the following as co-sponsors of this motion: Senator Musa Mustafa, Senator Shuaibu Lau, Senator Friday Komboy, Senator Shehu Kaka, Senator Natasha Akoti, Senator Onao Ogoshi, Senator Professor Anthony Ani, and Senator Dicket Plan.
You forgot to mention my name. I'm one of the co-sponsors.
Yes, sir. And Senator Barrow Jibin. Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate notes that the first large textile manufacturing mill in Nigeria was built in Kaduna State and began production in 1957. And this was replicated in all the regions in the country, especially the eastern and western regions,
resulting in tremendous growth in the textile industry. Also notes that the Nigerian textile industry blossomed in the 1960s and 1970s following committed government interventionist schemes such as the ban on importation of textiles, which ultimately drove many investors into the sector. Further notes that by the late 1970s and 80s, there were 167 textile mills in the country that provided 500,000 direct employments, thereby making the textile industry the highest employer of labor in Nigeria after the federal government. Cognizant that Kaduna was referred to as a textile city because it housed giant integrated mills and had the headquarters of the Nigerian Textile Manufacturers Association, when the state could actually boast of about 11 textile companies operating at optimal capacity, including the Arewa Textiles, Fantex Nigeria Limited, Nortex Nigeria Limited, Supertex Limited, United Nigeria Textile Limited, providing employment and business opportunities to thousands of people. We regret that by the year 1997, Kaduna Textile Limited, Arewa Textile, and UNTL were barely functioning, operating with obsolete equipment without capital to obtain spare parts, coupled with irregular source of electricity. Also regrets that by the year 2007, all these mills, all the three mills had shut down, with over 7,000 employees losing their jobs. And the once admirable structures that used to have the years of textile boom, the fortunes of the once flourishing industrial sector have tumbled and reduced the sector to our unenviable status of the weakest segment of Nigeria's industrial sector. Products are relying on importation to meet over 99% of its domestic needs. Also concerned that it is undeniable that the lost glory is yet to be restored, and it is even hard to believe that the Nigerian textile industry once annually, and with a capacity of producing more than 1.4 million table and bed linen, guinea brocades, wax pre-land, aimed at revamping and fast-tracking the growth and development of the cotton, textile, and garment sector, as well as addressing the various problems facing it. It is obvious that at the moment, one of the most daunting challenges steering the sector on the face is the influx of foreign textiles into the country. Also worried that with the lifting of the ban on textile importation in 2010, Nigeria now has almost 80% of its textiles imported from China, Indonesia, Taiwan, and other countries. This trend is definitely not helping the Nigerian economy in terms of employment, job creation, and needed foreign exchange. Accordingly, the Senate resolves to call on the federal government, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade and Investment as a matter of urgency to ensure the revival of the textile industries in Kaduna and Kano in particular, and the country in general, as this will further create job opportunities for the unemployed population of our country, thereby addressing youth restiveness and attendant insecurity. Two, also urge the Nigerian Customs Service to increase surveillance of our borders to check the activities of smugglers and ensure collections of the right tariffs for all imported textiles and other related produce. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Jibril Isa Ochocho, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Mr. President, first I want to thank Senator Katong for this well thought out motion. It is so comprehensive and straight to the point. Mr. President, first I want to state that the issue of import substitution strategy, which we've been dwelling on for so long a time, the issue of textile companies is one of those issues that we are supposed to address when it comes to import substitution strategy. Import substitution strategy is supposed to conserve foreign exchange. As we know today,
Nigeria has a need for foreign exchange for many other important things. When we know that a particular product can be produced, the textile industry used to be a major employer of laborers in Nigeria, both skilled and unskilled. As it is today, those factories have collapsed. The owners of those factories are bankrupt. Many of them today are finding it very difficult to survive because they are still owing banks. Apart from the Kaduna houses that he's talking about, if you go to Lagos, for example, the likes of Aswani Textiles, which used to be a major employer of labor, has gone down the drain. Go to in the eastern part of the country, Aba Textiles is suffering the same fate. This promotion is very important. The way I want us to approach it is that we will not just allow it to die here the way many of the motions have died. I want us to engage the Ministry of Industries. There has to be a comprehensive package on how to address this textile industry. First, the existing factories have machineries and equipment. Those machineries and equipment can be valued. When they are valued, that represents the equity stake of the original promoters. Then Nigerian government, through the Bank of Industry, can now provide additional machinery to those factories. That becomes the equity stake of the federal government in those factories. Then, at the end of the day, the commercial banks can now grant working capital to these companies. That is the way it has to go. We have to sit down with the Ministry of Industry and tell them how to go about this. If they don't, by the end of the day, we will not get the desired result. I think we should invite them. Let them come and sit down with us. We'll take them through the rudiments of this, on how this should be structured. This is what we call financial engineering. We have to structure it such a way that this motion can pass the test of time. So I want to mention that apart from the foreign exchange that will be conserved by not importing these textile products, by producing these textile products in Nigeria, there are other benefits. We have the backward integration, wherein the cotton farmers will go back into action. Okay? Because the major product is cotton. The major input is cotton. The cotton farmers in the north and wherever will now go back into action.
Thank you.
Then, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, sorry. Now, if we are able to put this package together, the Nigerian Customs Service has to be up and running. There are two alternatives. One, we have to institute prohibitive import tariff on imported textiles. Prohibitive. That's to say that nobody will want to do it because if you are saying 1,000%, for example, people will be scared. It's either prohibitive import tariffs on imported products or imported fabrics or outright ban. And the Nigerian Customs Service should be up and running in implementing that. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mohammed Ogoshi Olao.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Ogoshi Onao.
An attractive motion of concern to all and sundry. So please let's allow for two minutes.
Okay,
you have the floor.
Thank you very much, sir. Like I said, my name is Senator Mohammed Ogoshi Onao. I represent Nasarawa South. So I want to commend Senator Katu for this motion. It wouldn't have come at a better time than this. Better time than this because all that is happening in our country today is because of lack of jobs to do by our youths. And these 500,000 jobs that were lost are the direct job, indirect jobs that are also lost as a result of this. And the backward integration that was just mentioned by my colleague, I would want to suggest that the leadership of this Senate should at this time take it as a matter of priority that with this I'm sure we can come back on track, get our youths employed, get our farmers engaged, and this country will be better for it. Thank you very much, sir.
Senator Awajide Hussein.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Babangida Husseini, Senator representing Jigawa Northwest.
Whole gamut of the motion.
it is very important for this very hallowed chamber to understand the extent and the ramification of the problem. Beyond direct employment, I think Committee on Upstream, the textile industry had driven national development. Textile industry. So therefore, my prayer here is we will have to have a holistic and comprehensive approach to deal with this problem. Let us disarticulate the textile ecosystem, take out the production, should be made to look at the possibility of improving the quality of our cotton seed so that we can be producing the long fiber cotton. At the level of processing, our machineries are obsolete and outdated. Textile manufacturers can be encouraged to partner with Bank of Industry to facilitate the issue of the customs and the smuggling and all of the associated problems come in. Government has to take decisive step in making sure that we patronize made in Nigeria products, we make it affordable, we also make it a priority in our procurement to make sure that fabrics, locally produced fabrics are given priority more than imported fabrics. Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity to speak on this bill.
Senator Akposhi Natasha.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to especially appreciate distinguished Senator Khartoum for this very crucial motion. Immediately I saw it on the paper, I had to walk to him to ask that he should please include me as one of the sponsors. But I'd like to appeal to him and the House if we could please include a very particular attention to cotton. Because with the cotton industry, the cotton cultivation is the fastest way to resuscitate the textile industry because that is the primary raw material. If those of us who know history will know that the Liverpool Street in London was birthed out of the Nigerian cotton and textile. So we cannot do away by separating both. And may I just delve a little bit more on the cotton. Today in America, the cotton industry is the #1 cash crop sector in America that generates $75 billion. And let us look back down here in Africa. Ethiopia grows cotton and generates cloth for major houses like H&M and Zara. And for that, they have about 40 textile houses, as small as Ethiopia is. And from these 40 textile houses, and then the entire ecosystem creates about 50,000 jobs for Ethiopians. So Ethiopians can do that. Considering the fact that we in Nigeria, we actually led the path about 40, 50 years ago. Then it won't be out of place if we look inwards and strategically develop materials that will drive our textile industries, whether it's cotton, whether it's bamboo, or even the controversial Indian hemp. Yes, many of us, we travel outside the country, we see some fabrics, some eco-friendly fabrics that are made from materials that are probably prohibited here, but maybe we...
Questions? Oh, two people.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Mongono. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, it is very sad when one looks at the vibrancy of the textile industry with nostalgia in the 90s against the backdrop of the jobs that it has created along the value chain, its contribution to our economy by way of earning the much needed foreign reserve, conserving our foreign reserves from importation, as well as the value addition that it has brought to bear on the textile industry and the economy. But with the flooding of the Nigerian market by imported textile materials, as well as low power in Nigeria, the textile industry cannot compete favorably with textiles that are imported from outside the country because of high cost of production, especially power and what have you. I think the only panacea or solution to this ugly scenario, one is outright ban of importation of foreign textile materials, and then two, for the Central Bank of Nigeria to create a special purpose fund that will aim at reviving the textile industry. If in the first, the Central Bank of Nigeria can create a special fund for Nollywood and others, I think mutatis mutandis, it can be created for the generation of the textile industry against the background of its importance and contribution to our national economy. By the appropriate time, I will move for an amendment of the prayers to include these two. Thank you.
Senator Sani, you have just 1 minute because of time.
Thank you. I like also to support the motion, but I must observe that as a representative of Lagos, this motion is discriminatory. Let me say that the number of textile industry in Lagos is more than even Kaduna as the last count. So if you are doing all of this resuscitating in Kaduna and Kano, Lagos must be included. I want to say the problem arose because of the free trade encouraged by WTO, World Trade Organization, whereby there is movement of commodity across the world. However, there are safeguards. There are safeguards in WTO which are always observed in the breaches, especially by the third world countries, and they allow any independent power plant that is to serve particularly all the industry, especially the textile industry in Bakran, Isono, and Aswane. More than 11, more than 12 big marketers, everyone were there. So if we must do this, Lagos must be included, and or we remove the.
When you come, you can move for additional prayer. We'll go to the prayers.
Okay, sir.
The Lord was not released Senator Adam Oshimole. I said you shouldn't speak the other time, that you might want to speak here. You said no. So you have taken away the chance for you to speak here. Except.
Okay, Mr. President, sir, it's just that the rules of the Senate does not forbid any senator from speaking on every item, and we should be guided by those rules. No, I don't have to pick and choose when to talk. Yes. This is a complete different topic.
Well, as a former chairman of APC, but not as a lawyer. Not as a lawyer. Anyway, you are allowed to speak. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Because this is not about law, this is about clothing. And I'm a tailor. Just to say that in Kano, we have so many textile factories, from blanket making to towel to socks. And then we move to Sharada. You have several textile factories producing various fabrics. My brother from Lagos has just reminded us that from Ikeja textile mill set up by Wolowo, we had several in Igomu, Apapa, even Baba Adini of Korodu, we had factories. In Asaba, we had one. In Onitsha, we had General Cotton Mill. In Aba, we had Aba Textiles. We have complete federal character. Now I was talking to somebody from the Federal Character Commission. I said, I wish that I set up commission on how to share the cake. Who federal character is about. That we have federal character issue. And sir, you will say the right thing that even the World Trade allow you to regulate. In any case, post and present President of America has set aside the World Trade and is negotiating nation by nation. We cannot be more pro international institutions than the leaders of the free world. I suggest, sir, that the point made by Adik Ochocho should be taken seriously. But for this motion not to be like any other one, it will be useful for the Committee on Industry to invite the Minister of Trade growing without producing jobs.
But the manufacturing sector will necessarily create a job-led economic growth that will provide jobs for everyone, leading to more prosperity and reducing the number of idle hands. Sometimes I wonder, those people who are working in Shalada, Ikado, and Bopai, what can they be doing now? The about 30,000 workers that were in Kaduna City alone, what can they be doing now? Over 50,000 workers that were in various parts of Lagos were allowed to add additional prayers such as to give this measure the teeth that he needs so that Nigerians can visit manufacturing those things that will create jobs for our people. Thank you for your patience and may you continue to have this large heart to accommodate people like us. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Senator Shomole. Why I said I didn't know as a lawyer because we had an agreement that we're not going to speak that when you said you wanted to speak, I said no, don't speak, you speak. But now you twisted and then try to bring some legal tricks into it. But anyway, you have spoken and you spoke eloquently. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now we'll go to the prayers. Okay, Senator Mame Ademalero.
Thank you, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I didn't want to speak, but because of the issues raised by Adams Oshomole, I'm compelled to come and explain what happened. Mr. President, textile industries were flourishing in Nigeria because of the protection they enjoyed from government in the 60s, 70s, and even early 80s. By then, I could recall the Nigerian Customs Service, by then it is being called Department of Customs and Excise, were empowered to seize textiles and even ban them. And that gave encouragement to the textile industries. And they were flourishing and flourishing. And Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Nigeria used to be the second largest producer of cotton in the world. And this means we were generating a lot of employment arising from cotton production. If you could recall, the then in Nigeria was earning and also groundnuts. But because of lack of protection and smuggling of textile industries, the farmers and also the textile mills started going under. Farmers were stopped production, stopped going to farm to produce cotton. Textile mills also closed because of lack of protection. And we saw a lot of influx of textile products coming from Asia. China developed simply because they decided to close their borders. And I don't see why we should not do the same. I will at this juncture, Mr. President, I will push for the total ban of textile material, importation of textile material in Nigeria. If we really want to revive the sector, the only way we can do it is total ban. The issue of trade liberalization is to no work. There is no way it can work. So total ban is the only answer. And this is the point I want to stress, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the prayers. Prayers. Prayer 1. Call on the federal government, Ministry of Agriculture, and Ministry of Trade and Investment as a matter of urgency to ensure the revival of the textile industry in Kaduna, Kano in particular, and the country in general. This will further create job opportunities for the unemployed population of our country, thereby addressing youth restiveness and attendant insecurity. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Amendment. Senator Adams Oshomole.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Any part in Nigeria. Those
Those in favor of the passage of prayer 1 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. All the Nigeria Customs Service to increase surveillance of our for all imported textile and other related produce. Those in favor of...
I represent Borno North Selectoral District. In view of the plethora of argument for the total ban of importation of these textile materials across the submissions made by various senators, I think instead of this prayer, we should urge for a total ban on the importation of textile products, because if we allow this prayer to fast, it will continue to Adam Aleo.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Mohammed Adamu is my name. I second the amendment to the prayer 2 is proposed by the
Chief Whip and seconded by Senator Adamu Aleo. Say aye. Those against, say nay. The aye.
We urge the federal government to provide additional funds to the Bank of Industry that will be dedicated to.
Thank you, Mr. President, dear colleagues. Senator Professor Anthony Ane, I represent Ebonyi South. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, distinguished Senator Victor Ume. I so second.
Those in favor of the national prayer as moved by Senator Victor Ume and seconded by Senator Ane, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer?
Yes, sir.
Senator Akomodo Augustine.
Thank you, Mr. President. My additional prayer will come in the form of urging the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to encourage the farming and production of cotton, since there is no textile industry without cotton. I so move.
Seconder.
I second.
Senator Natasha Apoti Oduwaga.
Yes, sir. I stand to second Senator Akombondo's motion. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor of the additional prayer moved by Senator Akombondo and seconded by Senator Natasha, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? No. Let me commend the sponsor of this motion and the co-sponsors for bringing forward this motion. This is a very important motion, as could be seen by a number of those who contributed to the debate. It's something that touches on our overall livelihood, our overall well-being as Nigerians, our economy. It is clearly seen in the motion that 99% of our textile requirements are imported. 99% of those items we need in form of textile related are imported. This is worrisome, as against 100% that was produced in this country. Whatever system we are operating now has failed, so we should revert back to the former system. Senator Adam was showing the main mention of factories in Kano, in Sharada, in Panshikara, wherever. So all these yes, of course, also we have them in Bompai. Some of these factories have now been sold and are being used as housing estates and so on and so forth. This is worrisome. A lot of jobs are said in the motion. We've lost so many jobs opportunities for Nigerians. Any textile material we import from China or India, we are providing jobs to Indians over there and then taking away jobs from Nigerians. And not only that, our hard-earned foreign exchange is being spent to enrich these countries. This cannot continue. So we should look at what we did in the 60s, the 70s, that we became successful in textile production. Let's go back to that system, people. It is not the fault of this government, it's something we inherited as a government, but there's a need, as explained, that we should look at the entire arrangement and rearrange the system in terms of textile production so that we create jobs in our country. Jobs in Lagos, jobs in Kano, jobs in Aba, in Gusau, that is being a state that is now being ravaged by banditry and terrorism as well, will be set up there. I think it's something that should welcome. So everything has been explained in the motion. Our committee on to bring in reforms in terms of things that will bring succor to our people, that will arrange the economy for the better. I'm sure he will not hesitate to do the best he can to make sure that things are being turned around to allow textile products that we need in this country that should be produced in this country. We thank you very much for your contribution, and we hope our resolutions will be, in respect of this motion, will be implemented. With this, we have come to the end of our activities for the day. The Senate leader, you may wish to move for the Senate to adjourn till tomorrow. The leader of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, 10 June 2026, 11 a.m. prompt.
Minority leader, you may wish to second the motion.
Mr. President, at 11 a.m. for further legislative activities. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion for adjournment to Wednesday, the 10th day of June 2026, simply say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate stands adjourned a.m. prompt.
It's